First-time users. So what we'll do now is start SSUV. We're going to choose the tall version with Pro here. Okay. Let that load up. Now, what you're going to want to do first is to open the info bar, the mini rollout here. There is a skinny bar at the top, and I'm going to select that. That will pop out that rollout for us. Now I want to take that rollout and place it somewhere comfortable so I can be aware of any information that is provided to me. I prefer to place it right on the top here, and then I can take the other docked UI and slide that up, and then adjust it so this button is in perfect view. It looks nice and tidy. Now you'll see here, if I click, I get information. Requires a single ePoly object selection. If I select that, I click, it says the object requires an unwrap modifier. I turned that off last video, so let's turn that back on. Auto add unwrap UVW modifier. Brilliant. Going to left click, and it says auto added an unwrap modifier. Now you're going to hear system sounds right now, right? We don't want those audio sounds on. I had better plans for the audio system, and I planned on fleshing this out much more. I still would like to do that, but I'd like to see how the community receives this first. And then maybe we can add more features and make a rewrite and add better useful tones and other features like that. Okay, so for now I'm going to turn off the sounds just so they don't become annoying to anybody. I will scroll back up and click again. And you see that, collapse that, click again. Now you see that we have the red flash, but there was no sound at this time. So great, we're doing good. So we have the info panel here for us to be alerted to anything that's going on based upon what we are selecting in the UI to, happen. This UI is multifaceted. Let's say each item, most of the buttons and most of the UI elements have multi-purpose to them. So a left click and a right click, but also modifier keys and various uses of the modifier keys, combinations, I should say. So various combinations like shift and control plus left click will do something else. But on top of that, we also have state recognition. So based upon whatever state your scene is in, another action will be completed based upon that. Let me give you an example here. And this is just a very simple example. So if I have one object selected, right? Let me clear that. One object selected and I load it into the panel. The panel sees one object, okay? It knows the object needs an unwrap modifier and it adds it. Now, if I select these two and I click here, it knows not to add an unwrap modifier because it's a safety catch. So I'd have to press Alt and click, okay? Now that might seem a little confusing. It's not a big deal if you'd like to avoid remembering that, because you can just select the plus button and that will iterate through and add that modifier to each one. So I can select this object now and click here. You see I am showing UV channel 2, but there's data also in channel 1. Okay. So now I'm going to collapse those down, clear that out, select these again, and I'm going to right click, and you see that I added an instanced modifier to this object. Okay. Now, as we take that state idea, the idea of the scene being in different states, basically we're working with the unwrap modifier being in base mode, okay, or vertex, edge, or polygon, okay. So if you're in polygon mode, do you have a polygon selected or don't you have a polygon selected? There's many different things that you'll learn as you go through this, and I think it adds to the usability, but it might add to some confusion at first too. So I'm going to run through every single one of these buttons and all the features for each of the buttons. So if you ever need something to function in a certain way, you'll know if it's available. I want you all to be aware of everything that there is available in this. Now, having said that, let me also add that there's probably 100 features that are not in the UI that I can easily add back in in a future release, I guess you could say. I've built many different versions of this over the years, and I think this is the most appropriate version for now. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. And I'm sure a lot of these features here and these different rollouts are going to be a little bit of head scratchers for how they work. But that's what these videos are fully about. So let's get right into this. So now you know about the preview image, loading objects into the system. Okay. And how it works with different states, different modifier keys. And let's see here. I want to show you this again, just in case you missed it in a previous video. I clear out that selection. You'll see that this is turned off and this is set to a default state of green and blue for the seams. If I select this object and I load it into the system, you see that back face is turned on. I'm going to turn that off, and I'll turn seams fully off too. I'll select this other object and load it into the system. You see that back face is on and seams is on. That's because it's referencing the information in this modifier. So this modifier has those settings specified. Okay. It's the same with the UV channels here. 1, 2 are F data. Okay. If you think we're having fun yet, just wait. We're just getting started.